As the woman walks toward her car and is about to sit inside, she suddenly remembers that she left her handbag back in her office by mistake. She turns to her assistant and says, "Kavya, can you please go back to my office and bring my bag?" The assistant nods and heads back inside. A few moments later, she returns with the handbag and hands it over to her boss. Then she asks curiously, "Ma'am, did you count the money inside?" The boss replies, "Oh no, I didn't count it. I just have to make a couple of payments, so I'm heading there now." The girl says, "Okay, ma'am." A little later, the boss hands the suitcase over to another staff member, a young man named Nihal. "Nihal, I have an urgent meeting to attend. Please take this suitcase and deliver it to my house." He takes it and asks, "Ma'am, have you counted how much cash is in here?" She says, "No, I haven't. In fact, you can count it if you want." Nihal nods. "Sure, ma'am. I'll count it and make sure it's delivered properly." But as soon as he's alone, curiosity and greed take over. He opens the suitcase and finds lakhs of rupees, thousands of dollars, in cash. Grinning, he says to himself, "Wow, ma'am didn't even count this money. If I take out just 10,000 rupees, she'll never know." He slips the money into his pocket and closes the suitcase. "Rameshji, can you go to my house and collect the cash that's in the suitcase?" Ramesh asks. "How much cash, ma'am?" She says, "I haven't counted it. You can count it once you're there." Ramesh agrees and goes to collect the cash. When he returns, the boss asks, "Did you count it?" He says, "No, ma'am." Then the boss calmly asks him to call both Kavya and Nihal to her office. Now, all three staff members are standing in her office. She turns to Kavya and asks, "Kavya, did you count the cash in the suitcase?" Kavya replies, "No, ma'am. I handed it over without checking." The boss then looks at Nihal. "Nihal, how much money did you take out of the suitcase?" Shocked, he says, "What are you saying, ma'am? You asked me to drop it off and I did exactly that." The boss turns to Ramesh, but he too denies stealing anything. She stares at all three of them and says, "If none of you took anything, then where did 20,000 rupees disappear from the suitcase?" Nihal quickly points a finger at Ramesh. "Ma'am, don't trust this old man. Ever since he joined, cash discrepancies have increased. He probably hasn't seen this much money before. Maybe he couldn't resist." Kavya supports him. "Yes, ma'am. Nihal is right. Ramesh must have taken it." Then the boss says calmly, "Both of you, Nihal and Kavya, quietly put the 10,000 rupees each that you stole back on the table." Kavya gasps, "What? I didn't take anything." Without saying a word, the boss plays CCTV footage on her phone. It clearly shows Kavya sneakily taking cash from the suitcase and zipping it back up. Embarrassed and cornered, Nihal pulls out the money from his pocket and hands it over with a guilty apology. Kavya, too, with a pale face, returns the stolen amount and mutters an apology. The boss then sighs and says, "For so long, I kept getting complaints from clients that whenever I send payment, there's always 2,000 or 3,000 rupees missing. That's why I planned this little test. And now, the truth is out, crystal clear." Without another word, she looks at both of them and says, "You two are officially fired from the company, effective immediately."